जॉब चाहिए तो ध्यान से सुनना.
Welcome to episode 5 of How I Made It. I'm Bisharup and with me is my co-host Priyanshi. So Priyanshi, why don't you introduce our guest today?
Hi, Vishwarup. Okay, so today with us we have Trilok Bhattacharya. He's our senior from the CSC branch, batch of 2021. After interning with High Radius for 7 months in October 2020, Trilok got an offer as an SDET intern at Commvault. And since then, he has been, his words, not mine, floating in the sea of cloud native with his cube ship. Apart from that, he's a really creative person. He writes, he's into art, sports, and so on. Tilok has had a really taxing interview process, but in the end, it was all worth it. Let's find out how he made it. So, thank you so much for doing this with us, Priya.
Thank you.
And I want to talk more about your early years here at KIT. Like when I came to college, at least, like I had some milestones in my mind at the end of first year, second year, etc. So, what were your goals like for your first, second year, and so on? And how did it actually turn out to be, like reality versus expectations, kind of?
Okay, so to be honest, I wasn't aware of the placement scenario when I was in the first year or towards the beginning of the second year. And but I made sure that while I was here, I was making most of the time I had in college by playing FIFA. Like everyone usually used to do that. But yeah. Anyway, just kidding. I used to make sure I practice a lot of programming during the first and my second year. Because I made it, I used to do it like a game, like solving n number of problems would give me some kind of an achievement, or like it was a personal goal for me moving forward that I have to do this, I have to do that today, just small stuff. But my actual goal for placement came into formation when I was towards the end of my second year, when VMware arrived in our college to have a like pre-placement talk with us because they were come to hire us in the next semester. So they presented us with a PPT. It was I'm telling you, it was for me as a second year student, it was amazing, and that is when I knew what I had to set my mind on and where I have to settle. So that is where I started to form goals that I have to like sharpen those skills that I have basically not par with other skills, or maybe I have to like strengthen my CV, do some projects, like study the core subjects, be better at programming. So I had these in mind, and I used to do this, not like I used to do this all the time during the day, but I used to take some time out, an hour or two every day to like do something or the other, at least either do programming or study core subjects or just study for the exams, something. So I would say that I mean third year was the year in which I had the time to look into my goals and actually work for it, and I would say it went pretty well. Because when the VMware thing happened, after that I looked into some interview processes of some other companies like Adobe, Texas Instruments, all that, and I was like determined I have to get into something, otherwise I mean that's where the goal formation began. So yeah, I would so one thing I would say I missed during this goal preparation was I'm not very good into networking and stuff, so that is what didn't go as per the expectation, but I'd say everything else is fine.
Well, that's pretty interesting, because as like first and second years we were also like really relaxed, and then when the third year comes, it will like hit us like to reflect upon. And yeah, makes sense.
But that's natural.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah.
Okay, Bhaiya. So let's talk a little bit more about placement season now. So
sure.
What was your interview preparation strategy like? Just like how many companies you applied to before like getting interviewed for Commvault?
Okay, so like I was saying, I spent a lot of time practicing programming questions. I used to spend the time leading up to the tests, revising the subjects, not much, just the basics. That's what was required. And we had to appear for a lot of mock tests and sessions. We used to practice aptitude and logical reasoning. For those who are preparing right now, it would be a good idea to keep a checklist of all the problems that they are solving and revise it before the interview or the online test. That was a good strategy. And generally the interviewers are more interested in how you approach towards the solution and build the logic rather than actually getting the answer in the first go. So whenever you are posed with a question, you should think of the most basic solution first and then build towards an optimized solution. So that is what I had in mind while I was preparing for the interviews. I used to take up some question, think of the most basic solution, and when I was able to solve it that way, I would optimize it by tweaking it a bit or trying some different logic, something like that. So I mean, like you were asking what all companies I applied for before Commvault. I didn't apply for many companies, just a few, like Nutanix, VMware, and I was already into HRC and I was quite satisfied over there. So I was like, okay, I'm fine over here. Why should I even apply somewhere else? But you know, I wanted to explore different things. I wanted to explore other fields. So I applied in a couple of companies which I thought are interesting and the job profiles were intriguing. So here I am at Commvault.
Yeah, I really like that point. Like the interviewer doesn't want to like look at the final solution. They want to know if you like think through the process, and it's a really important thing to keep in mind. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So like before recording this video, like we talked to Bhaiya before and about the Commvault interview process, which led you to an offer of like 24 LPA, and we got to know the process and it was pretty hectic like he described. So let us like ask these series of questions in parts, I would say. So the first part being, what were the screening and tests before the major interviews like, and how would you rate the questions, and if you could give some examples, it would be great too.
Sure. So like you said, the screening round, it was a whole different like series of tests in general, because at first they were offering two profile, of one for the SD and one for the SDET, and about 1200 people had registered across the two profiles, and we had a pre-screening round at first to decide which track one would go towards, because one could take only one of the tracks. So there was a first round which was an MCQ based round, and there were questions from 5 sections basically. One was Python, one was C++, Java, another one was logical reasoning, aptitude, and core subjects, basically operating system, DBMS, data structures, and all the core subjects that there are. So I'd say the level of difficulty of the aptitude questions were more than average, but rest of the sections were pretty straightforward, and someone with a proper grasp could have solved it with less difficulty. So that was the pre-screening round, and this was just to decide what role one can apply for. And after this, some 114 students got selected for the next round, which was quite a cut. And the next round was actually a coding round. It had some 5 questions, and the time allotted was 75 minutes, and you had to choose your language of preference based on the role that you are going for. Like I opted for SDET, so I had to choose Python. So whatever the question I had to solve it in Python, and the 5 questions were varying across topics. Like there was a question based on array, an implementation based question of knapsack problem, a string based question, a sliding window based question, and a dynamic programming question. So one has to make sure that when they are preparing, they prepare different topics and across different different logics and different approaches. So the questions were pretty exhaustive, I would say. It was a bit difficult to write in Python, because generally Python is a very straightforward language and things are very easy to write, but to optimize it is a task. So it was pretty good, and I was able to solve some 3.5 questions, something around that, and about 8 people were shortlisted after this round to the interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask, like, was Python like your basic language, like in which you practice, or was it C++, Java, anything else?
Not really. It was basic. My main subject was C++, but since data structures is generic to any language. So if one is good in data structures, they can pick any language.
Oh, makes
So
sense.
yeah.
Okay.
So-
Also, like another follow up. Sorry. What was like the time allotted for the aptitude tests and the number of questions, some logistics here and there?
Yeah. So the entire thing was around 1.5 hours or so. Okay.
Mhm.
So there was no time for individual sections, but the entire thing was covered in 1.5 hours.
Okay.
10 minutes here and there. I don't exactly remember, but 1.5
It's
hours.
okay. Okay.
So like I also remember you mentioned that you also had a debug interview after that, like for
Yeah.
ComWorld. So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, so the 8 people who cleared the screening had a debugging round in which basically it was a one-on-one interview over Zoom with a panel member, and we were given a sample application in which we were supposed to write debug scenarios and test cases that would, cover the entire application as a whole and make sure that there are no breakages or the application is working as it should be. Like for example, I was given a application of WhatsApp backup and restore, and I was supposed to write as many test cases I can to think of and validate or what all the features are there for backup restore, and it doesn't go through some unexpected scenarios. So it was some 40-minute interview, and we were supposed to submit a document with all the test cases that we wrote, and we were evaluated on the basis of that, and then we had the next round. It was pretty exhaustive, and it was a fun round, I would say. It really brought the creativity out of the people who were selected.
Like how many test cases did you have to write? Like what was kind of the threshold?
There was no threshold, but I just kept on writing whatever was coming to my mind, and I wrote some 60 or 70 test cases, something the lines of that. And basic test cases, whatever one can think of. So 40 minutes is a lot of time, and when the mind is free, they can it can write something like that.
Yeah, this was a pretty unique round. Like writing test cases is always a plus and like brings out the creativeness, of course.
Yes. It's a unique round because they get to see what is going on in their mind. So it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Okay. So after that, there were 2 technical rounds, and do you want to like elaborate on those rounds?
Yeah, there was no end of interviews, I would say. There were
Yeah.
2 interviews, and both of them were pretty exhaustive. So in the first technical interview, it was preceded by 3 panel members, and they asked me a plethora of questions about my interviews, my work experience, my responsibilities, core subjects, projects, everything. So I would say it was very daunting, but it was fun because they were very humble and they helped me wherever I was stuck. So in the first interview, the first question that I was posed was to write a pseudocode, and that too for a sample problem that about something related to OS. Okay, I had to write it in any language that I chose, and I chose Python. So it was supposed to be a pseudocode, but it eventually turned out to be a full-fledged code. So I wrote the program, but then the interviewer basically posed me with some questions or scenarios that would actually break the code. So I had to make changes to the code to accommodate those boundary cases and make sure that there are no breakages. Then after this was done, they would pose me some more questions to add to that particular problem, and I had to make changes just to see how to accommodate to breakages or changes in the code. So it was a fun question because it was more like all 4 of us were solving the question rather than me trying to dig into the solution. So I was writing it, they were suggesting me boundary cases, I was applying it to the question, and it was good. So in the end, we did get a solution which was pretty exhaustive and covered all the scenarios and would not lead to any breakages. So yeah, that was the problem that was given to me. And then there was then they started to ask me about my projects, in detail what the business impact of the project was. and they made me write some test cases based on my own project that I would have faced when trying to test the product, or maybe try to make the product assure that it's quality. It's quality product, or I mean, just to make sure that the product is not breakable. So I thought of some test cases, and they were pretty satisfied with that, and they kept on asking me follow-up questions about the answers that I was giving. So it was basically an interview in which you were asked what you answer. So yeah, that was about the project, and then they started to ask me questions from core subjects. And like I said, networking was one of my weak points, but they started asking me networking as well. I made it clear in the beginning, as only in the interview, that networking was not my best skill. So they made sure that they asked me only the basic questions from networking, and I don't know, it just passed the networking round. And then there were questions from OS, then there was questions from data structures, some puzzle questions, and then they started asking me about my internship, what all I had to go through in my internship, and what was the responsibility I had to face, what was my day-to-day task, and how I handled different scenarios. And it was pretty exhaustive. It was very tiring, because there was so much to answer and so much questions in front of me from the 3 panel members. And actually this round ended in quite a fun way. They asked me a very tricky question, which I would say was the hardest to answer. Like I was pretty interested in data science. Okay, so I had mentioned this in my CV. So they asked me what if I was offered a data science job tomorrow. But I answered it positively, that I would go to I'll try to take something up which will improve my skills or enhance my knowledge. And they followed it up with, what if that company was Google? And then that moment I had to sit back and think what could be a good answer to this. But eventually I did speak something which I don't remember what I did, but the interviewer was pretty impressed, and I mean, they didn't ask me any more questions after that. So it was pretty exhaustive. I didn't expect that the interview would go this long, but it did turn out to be an hour and a half long. So it was tiring.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, this was the first interview. There was one more.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah. After this round, we got a follow-up call about another interview after an hour or so later. And the second interview was preceded over by 2 panel members, and the first question that they asked me was from binary trees. They gave me a scenario and asked me what tree implementation could be used in that particular problem, and I had to come up with a solution to address that scenario using binary trees. So it was a traversal question, and I had to adhere to the particular set of constraints that was given, and try to form a particular implementation of a binary tree to address that scenario. And then there was a question to write a solution for a decimal to binary conversion using Python. So they sent me a link to online code ground, where I had to write the program, and they would look over it and make some changes to the code, give me breakages, give me some boundary scenarios which would break the code, and I had to make changes into it. Basically, it was an overall of what all was going on till now, but it was a question which was pretty interesting to do because of the scenarios that they were posing me with. And yeah, this was the data structures questions. Then they started to test my logical ability by asking me puzzles. So I had to answer the puzzles in a logical way, and then I had to write a program to reach the solution programmatically. So I did write a naive solution at first, then I came to a optimized solution by using greedy divide and conquer, and towards the end I did get an optimized solution, and the interviewer looked pretty satisfied with it. And after that, they asked me questions from Linux, pretty basic Linux commands, some OS questions, and some networking to add with it. and again it was a pretty exhaustive interview. Again, it was equally lengthy, and after this I was told that I would get a call from the HR for the next round or whatever the end result was, and then we know what happened.
Okay, so there's a lot of like follow-ups I need to ask, but a few important key takeaways too. Like you mentioned, like it was an iterative process. It was based on feedback. So it's the interviews are there to help you, like you said, like just think on your toes. And some questions, like you mentioned that tricky question at the last, like you have to like keep thinking on your toes and stuff like that. Okay, so
Right.
I want to ask, like, you mentioned a puzzle question for that. Like, do you remember, like, what was that puzzle question like, or which domain was it in?
Yeah, so actually, it was not exactly what you would call a puzzle for a logical reasoning, but more like a programming puzzle. So I had to find, like, it was a basic scenario-based question that if I was given 10 bags of weights of particular 10 bags of particular weight, and I had to find out the least weighing bag, how would I do that with the minimum number of comparisons? Like this is a general question that is
Yeah.
usually asked, but it was presented to me in a way that was more like a story rather than a question. Okay, so that they posed me a story, and I had to think of it in a way which would result me with a programming answer. I mean, something some solution that can be achieved by writing a few lines of code, right? So I had to read between the lines to understand the question, what they were expecting of me, and yeah, that was it.
Yeah, makes sense. Like it was a real life question, and you just read between the lines as a programmer and find out the solution.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also want to follow up, like, on the first interviews, like first pseudocode that you had to write. Like, do you remember, like, what kind of question it was?
Yeah, basically they started off by asking me if I knew something from Linux, which I was not much experienced with. So they relaxed my question a bit and asked me that if I had a list of processes along with the details of the process, I had to like iterate over the file one by one, and to get the processes and find the process which had the maximum, time consumption or the memory consumption, and like list it up in a particular way, in a particular pattern. So I had to fetch those processes from a particular file, search for the process in the command line, fetch the memory output, memory intake, or the CPU consumption, and like order it on a basis like that. So I had to write a pseudocode because I wasn't too sure about the command that would fetch me processes, but they relaxed it a bit and said it's fine to just use pseudocode where I didn't think I knew the correct answer to.
But so this was an all-round interview. I can feel it.
Absolutely. It was pretty tiring because the whole process happened in a single day, and there was no time to rest. So
Wow.
it was quite quite tiring.
It's quite mentally taxing too. Okay, I guess that
Yeah.
was all my follow-ups.
So here you also like mentioned they made you write tests on your personal projects too, like some edge cases and all. So like you wrote a lot of tests in the whole interview process, right? So did you have some specific like preparation beforehand, specifically on tests focus, or like how did you gain confidence to approach for this?
Yeah.
To be honest, I was not even aware of this debugging round, because I got to know when I was in the interview room that I had to write test cases. But I did do some research before the interviews, what are the expectations from an SDET, and I had something in mind. I read through the class notes that we had for software testing, and I would say it was fun because I had to do something that I had to go out of my comfort zone and do something that I had never done. So I didn't have any particular preparation for the debug round, but I would say like to think of a scenario and to come up with solutions are what they're expecting you to do, rather than come prepared with a set of answers. So I think that is what was the main objective of that round was. So yeah.
Okay, so do you want to like give any additional insights about the entire process that we missed, or anything like you'd like to mention about the interview or the post-interview experience?
Post interview experience, I can only share what I was going through, because I mean like I was saying, the entire thing was like happened in a single day. The entire interview process happened in a single day. So I locked myself in a room. I made sure that no one would come in, and I sat there since the morning till the evening, late at night. So my parents had no idea what was going on, and I was going through one by one rounds of interviews. And then finally in the evening, when I got a call from the HR that I had to attend another round, I was in a meeting. I was in a meeting while I was working for HRC, and I had to excuse myself and attend the meeting that the HR interview that the HR asked me to attend to. And then when I entered the meeting room, I realized that it wasn't really a interview round, but more of a I entered it and I was told that I got selected and I would be working in Bangalore and everything. So I was very happy, and the first thing was to tell everyone about it. So while I was in the meeting, I was texting my friends that, hey, I got into it. And before I could even talk to my parents about it, some like this spread, and they started calling my parents, and they were being congratulated, and my parents had no idea what's going on. And later on, when I had to explain them the whole thing, they couldn't be happier. So yeah, that was the post interview experience.
That was quite wholesome. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like you have worked at like Commvault for like 8 months now. Can you like tell us a bit about your role and your day to day at Commvault? Like, how is it different from an SD's role per se?
Yeah. So generally most people are not aware of the SDET role, and it's not much talked about, but it's an equally integral part of the development process. So my job is to make sure that whatever new features are being developed are up to the standards that the customer would accept, and I have to ensure that there are no breakages. I have to to do this, I have to create test plans, do manual testing, do automation. For automation, I have to write scripts in Python to cover the whole feature, and then that make sure it's being run in a particular schedule, and make sure if there are any breakages, they are being adhered to, they are being reported. And it's my job to report those breakages, work closely with the devs to get a fix for a particular breakage, if any. And then I have to look into customer issues, what the customer is facing, how the product can be improved even further. And like I said, I have to work closely with the dev to search for solutions to the customer's issues. If the customer is requesting for a new feature, I have to manually test it first, develop the feature myself, or produce the binary steps to reach a particular new feature, and then the devs can take it over from me and enhance it further and integrate it with the modules. And then I have to suggest improvements, I have to suggest enhancements and new features that can be developed that would be beneficial for the customer. And also I get to test different technologies. Like for example, right now I'm working on testing the backup and restore functionality for Kubernetes, and that Commvault provides. And so I get to test different grade of production clusters, and also test clusters, and cover different scenarios and all the features of Kubernetes so that everything is working as expected. And I have to make sure that different releases are covered, that different third-party vendors are covered, that if someone is using something that is not expected to be used, they don't see anything which is unexpected, and the product is working as it should be, even if something that we have not exactly tested is being used. So it covers a lot of things. It's quite interesting and fun to do. I wake up in the morning, see the test plan, detect breakages, follow up with the devs to fix those breakages, write automation code. There's a lot of coding involved. There's a lot of domain knowledge that needs to be that I need to go through. I have to learn new things and keep myself up to date with the new technologies. So I would say it's very interesting, because I get to learn a lot of things every day about the product, about new technologies, and also I get to do a lot of programming. So it's great.
I agree. I totally agree. Like communication and creativity is the key here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
Okay.
Bhaiya, any advice about the interview process and college in general for your juniors, like for the ones who will be going through the same phase as you have been right now?
Yeah. So actually, I get a lot of questions about college and placements in general from my lot of my juniors, and I have one common answer to most of their question, and it's patience. Like, one has to be patient when going through a tough placement scenario like this, because one will see that many people are getting placed around themselves, but they are not getting the offer yet. So I would say that you have to be patient about it and trust the process, trust your skills, and do what you're doing without uh, letting astray from your tracks. And I mean, one has to make sure that anxiety and self doubt don't catch them up, and before getting placed, you'll start doubting yourself that if you're good enough or not. But you have to believe that you are, and you have to trust yourself, you have to have faith in yourself, and you have to keep practicing. That's all. It's not that you have to practice a lot every day. No, you have to bring out some time every day, just an hour or two, or maybe even 30 minutes every day, to solve some questions which are new, solve something new, do something new. Even if it's not programming core subjects, something has to be done, because one has to stay in their tracks and not falter into different things. And yeah, it's pretty anxious time for people right now, because I was in this scenario once, and it was very demotivating, I would say. But don't see others, and be happy with others' progress, because sometime later you will be also making progress, and people will be happy with you. So that was what the mindset should be for people. And for the interview process in general, like, more or less every interview process or every online test is one or the other, more or less the same. So you have to strengthen your core subjects, just the basics, not much in depth. But you have to make sure that you are doing something or the other every day, because you have to be in a flow. And that is what I would suggest the juniors, that keep working hard. That's all. Even for working hard, you have to relax yourself, you have to sit back and assess what you have done, and take some time out, enjoy, play games, talk to your friends, have some nice conversations. And yeah, this is a part of the process. So you'll get through this. That's all I would say. Have faith in
Enjoy the
yourself
process,
and you'll
basically.
shine. Yeah, you have to enjoy this process, because even this anxious moments and even this scenario that they're going through isn't gonna come back again. So it's a part of the process.
Okay.
This was a really unique perspective. Like it's not only about the hustle, it's also about patience and enjoyment.
Of course
Okay.
it is.
Okay, so Bhaiya, we collected some audience questions that we would like to ask you. So one that we have is like, what projects did you have on your CV?
Like I would say, my projects were not particularly constrained to one domain. I used to do a lot of stuff. I didn't know what I would want to do when I actually get a job. So I made my hands dirty into ML. I had one or two projects in ML. I don't remember what my CV was exactly at that time, but I do remember I had one project in ML, one project in web development that I had with HRC, and one project in IoT, one project in data structures. I had to develop a particular algorithm, or I had to test a particular algorithm, what was developed with the new algorithm that we were working on. So it was a mixture of different domains, but they were more concerned, like my interview process in my interview process, they were more concerned about how I was solving those problems, how I was thinking towards a solution, and how I would reach a particular milestone with those projects. So those who want to know what kind of projects are good for you, it's whatever you choose, whatever you want to work on. It's your time. It's you have to explore, you have to try different things, but make sure that the project, like, try to do something that impacts the society in some way, and not make generic projects, because generic projects would be pretty common. So try to bring your own spice into your projects and do something which is a bit unique, and also if it helps the society, then it's even better.
Okay. I think we also covered the how many projects should we do part. It should be impactful, not just a number. Right.
Absolutely. Number is not a question. It's about how your project impacts what the solution it is addressing, and yeah, that would be good.
Yeah. Okay. So there are like a few questions about how should we prepare, like how did you prepare for DSA? Like simple lead codes, CP, how? Yeah.
I would say I got lucky that I had a very good teacher during my college time. And he was very passionate about DSA, so whatever he used to teach, it was very fun to learn. But like those who are studying by themselves, those who are going through this without much guidance, I would say you should like make a plan what all different things you need to cover. You don't have to know everything, you just have to know what are the main scenarios and how you are tackling new questions, because it's very difficult to get a question you have already solved in the interviews. So if you're lucky, you might, but generally that doesn't happen that way. So try to solve different questions, try to know the theory first, and if you aren't able to solve a question, go through the community answers for that particular question, go through what all approaches they are using to solve the problems, and try to go through the theory of it, and maybe try to solve different problems using that approach. In that way you'll learn new things, you'll strengthen your data structures and also algorithm part. And I would say practice is the key. The more different new questions you solve, the more it will strengthen your ability to solve new questions.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say, was it Amulya sir? Like, was the teacher that taught you?
No. For algorithms, it was GB Mund sir. He was very passionate about it. He was like he didn't care about what the students are doing. He cared about those who are actually listening to him, and he would go out of his way to explain them stuff. And he was great.
Okay. So my guess was wrong. There's a logistical question here. Which platform was the test taken in? Like the screening test before?
Okay. So actually, Commvault had their own interview, online test platform called Geeked. So they had it developed, and it was a very strict platform, I would say, because they had your screen recording as well, and they were actually seeing what we were coding and also keeping an eye on us through webcams, and they had some technology going on which would detect if we were going away from the screen or something like that. And I would say those people who actually didn't make through this pre-screening were made to go through another round of pre-screening, because these people were doubtful that maybe they were cheating, and they had to make sure about it. So this pre-screening round was pretty strict, I would say. So the platform was it was a bit difficult to navigate through, but they give you enough time to go through it and get yourself comfortable with. So platform isn't an issue with any interview process.
Okay. And I guess we covered, like, do you think coding should be the main focus for second and third year students? I mean, it's a bit of both. And
yeah, absolutely. Like, people try to core subjects is as equally important as programming, because eventually it's about how much what is the capacity of your learning, how much you know about something, because one can't always get a job with just programming. So it has to be a mix of everything. You don't have to be perfect in everything, but make sure that you know what you're good at.
Okay. And the interview focused on your dev skills, or was it DSA oriented? I guess it was both, like you mentioned in your answer.
It was pretty exhaustive. Yeah,
agreed. Okay, I think we're done with the audience questions.
Cool.
All right.
So that was it, I guess. So thank you so much once again, Bhaiya, for doing this with us. And
Thanks, guys.
so if you like this video provided any value to you guys, then do share it with your friends, and also check out our previous videos if you haven't considered. And like if you think our channel has been valuable, then do subscribe to us, and we will be uploading contents like this more and more. Thank you guys. Take care. Bye.
Also, we will like link down all of Bhaiya's social handles in the description below where we are seeing this YouTube, Spotify, so you can reach out to them.
Sure.
Yeah.